After training thousands of athletes and even getting athletes to run 10.2 in the 100 meter, I think it's really important to break down the fastest athletes in the world. In today's video, we're going to break down the fastest athlete of all time, Usain Bolt, and see what we can take from his workout. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first thing we will see is probably looks like a max effort 200 meter. So this is training an energy system that is called speed endurance. All right, there's some other terms, but you guys don't really need to know all the scientific terms and stuff like that. But it's pretty much speed endurance, going your max effort for 200 meters and then resting for a long time. This is where people get wrong. People struggle in the 400 and the 200 meter or at the end of 100 meter, and they're like, oh, let me just run more tempo work and a bunch of 100 meters and 10 times 200 meters. No, you need to do these max effort sprints. He's going 90+%, and you got to rest. Look at him, he's laid out. I'm not making this up. I promise you, I've trained guys who can run 45s, 46s in the 400 meter. You got to do one. You got to do two, you got to do three, and you got to get laid out. And you got to rest for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and then go back and go max effort again. This is an energy system called speed endurance that holds back thousands of athletes from not being able to do shit in the 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, completely burning out at the end because they don't have this energy system. This is one of the reasons why Usain Bolt was great at the 400 meter and he's great at the 200 meter, and obviously best of all time in all these 100 and 200, of course. We'll also look at the environment. He's got people with him. He's going to compete. He's going to train. This is big. A lot of the fastest athletes in the world race people who are also just as fast as them. You can't just train by yourself all day, every day. Yes, he's doing 150 by himself, but you can't just sit around and do nothing all day by yourself, all day, not challenging your time or not racing somebody or not putting a video and trying to see what you can improve, things of that nature. You got to be working really hard no matter what. Don't write stuff off as genetics. Don't write off people like Usain Bolt as, oh, it's just his genetics. It's just, he's tall and he can run fast. He can put his feet down. It's not that simple sometimes. I've also looked at his workouts. I bought this guy, which is his trainer. I bought his trainer's workouts. I've seen years and years of every single workout he's ever done because the trainer writes it down, of course. And a lot of it isn't this crazy high volume sprinting with low rest. It's exactly what I'm saying. I like the leg press a lot. This is really good for putting a lot of load to the quad and also protecting your knee pain. A lot of sprinters and jumpers can have a lot of knee pain. So, learning how to produce a lot more force in the quads is also really important for your max velocity sprint speed and your acceleration. So, there's nothing wrong with doing a leg press, especially a lot of people are really quick to load up on a back squat, go 400 pounds, 300 pounds. When you do a leg press and put way less systemic load on your body and be way more fresh the next day, you're going to be sore, but you're not going to be beat up and have all these compensations from loading up way too much actual weight on your spine. So this next one, I'm not really too sure what the gadgets are, but it's probably just to see his movement. But either way, this is just some core work. Stabilization in the core is really important for running fast. This is really good. This might look ridiculous. I promise you, doing hill sprints in the water, this is resistance. And then he even got some resistance this direction. It doesn't really matter if you're going up or down, but it's resistance to the tendons, but you're taking no load to the body. So you're kind of deloading your body weight, but still adding resistance. I know it sounds crazy, but let's actually back up real quick. This is amazing. This is amazing, especially for the early phases of your workouts. This is a hang clean. The form looks a little weird. It looks like he's kind of pulling it from the shoulders, but obviously he's exploding with power. I'm just saying it looks weird, but this is good for, developing power through triple extension. He's doing high repeats, it looks like, so maybe the 8 to 12 range, which is really good for developing power. It's a good exercise. It's a great exercise. This is for developing the hip flexor. Notice how it's wrapped around his leg right here, and then he's pulling it behind his body and going through the gait cycle. A gait cycle is what every sprinter goes through, is your ability to cycle through in the cyclical motion. So this is the circle that you run in when you sprint, and he's training that with resistance and also while pulling it up so you can, get used his hip flexor more often. This next one, obviously this is a commercial, but still these are great exercises. You're going to see him go into a lunge. The lunge can work on deceleration and developing the glute and the quad. That's really important for your acceleration, especially the glute. He's obviously not going too heavy. This is clearly a commercial. Then he's doing a box jump. Box jumps, notice how people, the good athletes, don't box jump where they're landing in a deep squat. They're usually landing in a quarter squat or a straight leg because the box, when you do box jumps, should be very, very low. Just a quick tip that really irritates me that I see all the time. Pull-ups are great for full body development, developing the lats that are really important for sprinting as well. Push-ups, this is just a push-up variation. Obviously, this is, just working out the triceps, working out the chest. Just good to also train the upper body. It's not going to transform your vertical jump. A lot of people are like, oh, the bench press, does it improve your vertical jump? No, it doesn't do anything for your vertical jump, but I mean, it could help. Right here, this is just getting some load to the Achilles tendon. You see how this Achilles tendon is loaded right here, and he's just punching into the ground. A lot of people also say this is good for mechanics, like, it's cool. It also kind of works your core a little bit, your quads, it's just a little good burn. A lot of people do this, like this mountain climbing work, for like a warm-up. I don't see anything wrong with that. Motor skill and neuromuscular coordination is really important, and you could kind of train that softly through doing stuff like these drills. Once again, I mentioned earlier how he's doing max effort 150s or 200 meters. Clearly, this is very close to max effort, probably 90%, and he's going as hard as possible. You see his coach just timed right there, and you just time it, you rest a lot, and you go back again. You do the same stuff for your actual max effort sprint work. Right here, this is working out the glute in extension, so this is really important because you need to be able to push off in extension when you sprint, especially in acceleration. That will do really good for your glute. This is good for core stabilization and being able to maintain your core in an elongated state. So when you're sprinting upright, your core needs to be stable and very strong while you're elongated, because your body is in a straight line. It's not, crunched up in like a regular crunch. So you need really good strength there. This is really good. I love doing hack squats over back squats. We can actually back up right here because you can load up super, super heavy. Like, look at this. He's loading up super duper heavy, right? A lot of goddamn weight, but there's no compensation because it's a machine. And you can power through your toes and do all this power stuff that people are like, oh my God, that's so dangerous. But no, it's not. You're on a machine. Nothing's going to move. If you fail, you fail. If you power through your toes and you flop, you're okay because you're on a machine. So it's actually way safer than just going on a barbell and doing all the power stuff you see from the olden days, right? That was good for back extensions. This is just another core work. This is another core thing, just, a lot of crunches, variations. A lot of it's for stabilization, anti-rotation. You want rotational power as well, which is really good that you see right here with the med ball. I think this is the most important stuff right here. And even doing stuff where you're like in split stances and you're throwing the med ball while rotating, kind of like what he's doing right here. Sorry, I'm not throwing out names. I don't see the point. Leg extensions is good for, protecting the knee and getting some quad hypertrophy and strength. Once again, this is, it's the same type of stuff, just core stabilization and strengthening the core up. Crunches, I'm not into this type of work. Obviously, he's the fastest of all time, so I'm not gonna say something is wrong, but it's just, it's not gonna really do much for you doing crunches every single day. Box jumps are great. You can hop on the box. Notice how he's walking off the box. He's not jumping off the box. Because the purpose of the box is to get a lot of forces without taking a lot to your knees and your legs, so you can jump high and land without taking a lot of load and pain to your knees. So you have a lot of knee pain or shin splints, you probably want to do some box jumps until you feel better. Right here is back extensions. He's doing the prime movement with his glute. So notice how his glutes contracting right here. That's really important. He's just getting some weight into contracting glute. Once again, just another hang clean. It seems like he's pulling a lot. I don't really know what's up the form, but it doesn't really matter. It's power through triple extension. It's a good Olympic lift. Great for neuromuscular coordination. Right here, once again, we see the leg press. Really good for developing power in the quads. Once again, it's on a machine, so if he can load up super heavy, you're not going to compensate. You're not going to get some crazy injuries or anything. You could load up heavy as hell, get a crazy good nervous system stimulus, and be fine. These are switches through wickets. This is just challenging his neuromuscular coordination. Driving down right here is explosive step ups. He's kind of going a little bit slow. He can go way more powerful, but once again, he's fastest in the world. It doesn't really matter. His sprint work is the meat and potatoes. That's all that matters. Sled sprints. Notice how he does not go heavy here. I don't know what is up with the fascination of going super heavy sled sprints recently, but all you need is 10 to 20% of your body weight, and you can produce a lot of force and teach your body how to produce high force without straining your body and trying to barely push it forward. You just need to go light. He barely went light. Maybe went like 20% of his body weight, maybe 30, 40, right? Once again, another max effort. This looks like more of a max effort, a flying sprint. So flying sprints is when you build up for a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. I have to see the entire picture. People in the comments are going to try to tell me I'm wrong and that they know what this is. You can't tell until you see the whole video. It looks like a flying sprint. These are switches. Just driving the knee down through the wicket, like I said earlier, really good for developing neuromuscular coordination, which is really important for sprinting. Rhythm, elasticity, your ability to be rhythmic is really important. It's not about brute force when you sprint. It's about co-contractions. Right there, you saw the wall climb. You're seeing just a lot of core work. I like rotational core work, right? We need to value being able to rotate side to side like Usain Bolt does a lot, right? Here we get into, this is good for opening up your hips, your hip flexors. Last video I said I didn't like it and everyone got on my case and it was really annoying, but whatever, it doesn't matter. All the athletes I train, you know, even the guys who run 10-2, I don't have them do a lot of hip flexor work and a lot of stuff where you're in the hip mobility realm, because it's not hip mobility, you're standing up. Your hip flexor, a lot of people like they say that your hip flexor opens up here, you're standing up. Your hip flexor is actually tightening here, so there isn't like a lot of hip mobility here. I don't really get it. This is just a tempo run, real simple tempo, 100 meter, probably, you know, 100 yards, real light work, good for recovery. Put on your recovery days, you shouldn't mix it with your speed work. This isn't going to do anything for your hips, just letting you know, right? Just giving you a heads up. This is a lunge. He's doing repeated lunges. This is just good for getting some systematic load to your body, you know, just getting some basic hypertrophy and strength. If you don't know, I've trained guys who run 4.4 in the 40 yard and 10.2 in the 100 meter. So if you want to see your speed transform in 4 months, go hop on Just Sprint right here, or go in the description, click the link right there, and go watch this video right here. Hope you guys enjoyed.